Hey, I'm Stacey Danger, and you're watching the 13th Wolfman. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Hey guys, please check out the trailer for my movie 420 Massacre. Let it go.
How far is it?
3-4 miles? I'm telling you though, this place is super creepy.
What you girls doing out here?
On our way up to Higgins Creek.
Yeah, we're gonna camp there for the weekend.
Five of you are out here by your lonesome, huh? Listen, we have an issue up here with guerrilla growers.
Are you serious?
It's 420. It is our collective duty to blaze up on this stuff.
What in God's name are you talking about?
Happy birthday! Love you.
You hear that?
Help me! It's coming for me!
Why would someone want to kill you?
The wind.
Rachel, where are you?
Shh.
So high.
Hey everybody, it's 13th Wolfman. You know who I have with me today? I have Stacey Danger and I have Vanessa Reynolds, and they're going to sit here and talk to me about, well, 420 Massacre. Welcome to Sit Down, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
This is always fun. I saw the movie. I like the movie. It's a little on the goofy side, when it comes to it, but I did enjoy it. So what was that like making? I mean, you guys are what, Northern California when you made it?
Southern California.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We actually had a couple people that reviewed it say, like, you guys are in the desert. I'm like, yes, it's Southern California. This is what it looks like in the forest down here.
Wow. Okay. So how did you all come to get involved with this movie?
Do you want to take it first, Stacey, or?
Sure, yeah. So Vanessa and I have known each other for quite a few years, and not very long into our friendship, I got to know her husband Dylan, and he brought this script idea and said that he was writing it for everyone to go up to Big Bear and make a horror movie and mention a part in it. And a few years go by and I never hear anything. And then one day I get an email like, hey, Stacey, you want to come read for this role at a table read? And I was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. And they sent me the script and I read it and immediately was in love with it. And like, we have to get this movie made. And then, of course, the rest is history.
And of course, Vanessa, I mean, you got, were you part of the writing of this script, or was it just your husband?
Well, so I don't have a writing credit, but I was there from, my husband came to it through the thought of the title. The title was the first thing that came to him. He was like, 420 Massacre. We have to make this movie. And then kind of reverse engineered it from the title. So I was there through several different versions of it. One of the things that I had the biggest hand in was helping transition the main characters from male to female. So when he had originally written the script, it was a mixed company, men and women go into the forest. And at some point, actually, I think the first character that was changed from gender swapped was Stacey's character. Because, I mean, you've seen the typical male stoner in basically every single horror movie ever.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just thought it might be fun to take like just a little swap on that. So we used the same trope, but he changed it to a female, and we just really liked how it was going. So instead of changing relationships and changing situations, we just changed all of the stuff from male to female. And then I helped with things like, yeah, a woman's never going to say that. Or that's not how we do it. The scene the scene by the creek between the more like aggro character that in another movie would have been like the male jock character, and like the more ditzy-ish girlfriend character. When we were doing that one, I read it, and the second he changed it from male to female without doing much editing, I was like, this is so rapey. We need to pull back, because a woman wouldn't be this type of aggressive on another woman. So I helped with that kind of stuff. But as far as the structure and the writing, that was all Dylan.
I do love the introduction of Stacey's character when they open up the trunk.
That was really fun because everyone was crammed into the back of the SUV, and I was just laying back comfortable. I was like, hey, however many shots this takes, I'm in a good, relaxed place back here.
Oh, that was funny. So what was the hardest thing for both of you about making this movie?
You want to go first, Stace?
Sure. For me, the hardest part, well, there were two. It's twofold for me. One, aside from the film, was just the fact of being in a camping situation. I'm outdoorsy, but to an extent, and so and I'm also very, very private, and so living in a campsite in the woods with multiple other people with one bathroom for a week was a little challenging for me. And at the same time, I was also on a special diet from my doctor, so it proved to be a little extra difficult in that aspect. But as far as character-wise, Donna was really interesting to dive into because not many people know this, but I actually had never been stoned before making this film. And I went on this quest I was like, I have to do this character justice. I have to do Donna justice. So all of my stoner friends, everyone I knew who celebrate 420 and partake, were all doing everything they could to get me stoned, and nothing was working. And so I got really nervous that I wasn't going to be able to portray this properly. I'd been drunk before, but I was like, this is completely different being high. And so I went into it and I was like, I don't want to overdo it, oversteer the ship per se. So that was very difficult for me, but I think we found a really nice ground with it not being overdone and not played so much into the, oh my God, I'm so high, like lost brain cells high, because my friends who smoke regularly and partake, they're actually very productive creatives and very productive business people. And so I decided to go more that route with it. And I think it turned out much better for the film and for the character that way.
Right. You want to be a character, not a caricature.
Right.
I get it.
Yes.
And you, Vanessa?
Well, so twofold. As a producer, one of the most difficult things for me was trying to make everybody comfortable because we were not in a comfortable situation. We chose the strangest time of year to film a movie that takes place all in daylight, where instead of choosing really long days, we were actually filming where there were shorter days. And the second the sun would start to go down a little bit, it got really cold. And when we were killing everybody, we would do it at the end of the day, which meant that they're covered in fake blood, and it was like nearing 40, like 45 degree weather at times. And I'm trying to be an actor and all of this stuff, but then my producer hat is on, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we need to keep her warm. We need to get sleeping bags. We need to do this. We need to do that. Just trying to make sure that everybody was as comfortable as possible, because I felt like it was such a it was such a gift that all these amazing, talented people were willing to work on our project, that I wanted to make it the best experience possible for them. And I mean, that's always difficult to try to keep lots of people happy. But I think it, for the most part, worked. And then as an actor, one of the hardest things to do was deal with the ash. We had, where we were filming, there had been a huge forest fire. So all of the ground that we were on, everything we were touching was black and ashy. And during my scene where I confess my love to Jamie Bernadette's character, we're sitting on a log that is just completely ashen. So our legs are black, my hands are black, and we're out there trying to film this, and I start having a serious allergy attack. So I can't touch my face because I have black hands. And so I guess that was probably one of the hardest things about filming it. Having the poor makeup artist have to come over and try to like touch up all of the red around me, and it was just a problem.
Wow. That's, well, I was just going to say, well, what was the funnest part about doing this? But I'm not sure if there's, doesn't sound like there's much fun making this movie.
Oh, we had a great time. We had so much fun making this movie. The elements were just a completely separate part. But we had so much fun together. And yes, Vanessa took great care of everyone. She was our camp mom for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like she has a very motherly quality, the way she's talking about always trying to make sure everyone's happy and comfortable. And
yeah, I think that the best thing, thank you, by the way, but for me, the most fun was just these amazing people. The personalities, you couldn't have asked for a better situation. Most of the girls had never really met at all before we all of a sudden were slammed into this very tight situation. We're all literally sharing one shower. I don't know if I should have mentioned that when we were talking about difficulties making this movie, but all five of us women were sharing one shower, one bathroom, and that was difficult. So it could have been really uncomfortable and not fun, but everybody was so wonderful, and we really all got along and became really great friends, and I actually think that's really evident in the movie itself.
yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that you didn't know each other before this, because you guys all come off just like you've known each other like 15 years, 20 years, you know? So, I mean, to hear that you guys barely knew one another beforehand, that's an amazing portrayal.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fun. Having to use one shower. I grew up camping up here in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm in my head. I'm like, oh, it's probably one of those solar showers where you fill the bag up and then let the sun.
That might have been the cleaner version.
Actually, what's that?
I said that might have been the cleaner version of what we did.
Yeah, it was hilarious because I actually was quite germophobic, and I personally take way too many showers in a day. I'm unfortunately one of those Southern Californians who waste too much water. But I would come in and I had a shower towel because I forgot flip-flops. And so I would put my towel on the floor of the shower every day, and I would come out the next morning and I would leave it for anyone else who wanted it, but someone would always bring it out and hang it up. And then I freaked out because I was like, I can't remember which side touched the floor and which side my feet were on.
It's all clean anyways. I mean,
yes.
We also had if you died that day, you got to take a shower first.
That's a cool rule. Any other rules like that?
I think that was the main one, because you're usually covered in all that crazy sticky
blood
and freezing. So you got the first hot water, and you got the first shower.
What's with filming? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love horror, but you always hear that everyone always films like these summer movies in the dead of winter. You know, I mean, I don't get it.
Bad planning. I don't know. no. It would have made sense because we had to stop filming as soon as the shadows started to come in really hard. And I don't know. Now looking back, it seems like the most obvious thing that we should have filmed it around like summer solstice, but that's just not what we did.
I mean, yeah, you have a better chance of having more people out there in the woods with you, but come on, the woods are huge, you know?
True. I wish we would have had this conversation before we decided our film.
Well, it's like there was another movie called Pin-Up Dolls on Ice, and it was filmed by Melissa Mira and Jeff Klein. I'm glad I remembered. He would have killed me. But they filmed it in the dead of winter, and one of the women has to do a skinny dipping scene.
Oh.
And it was kind of like, it's like, dude, Friday the 13th, the original was filmed in like late fall, early winter, all these things. I'm like, I don't get it.
I wonder if it has to do with the availability. I know part of it actually had to do with the availability of our crew, because they had to be able to take the job that was going to pay them more. And since we got quite a bit of wonderful bro deals on this, we had to film it when it wasn't their biggest money-making time, which happens to be the summer. So it was like doing it on off season, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. I feel sorry for I haven't been in a horror movie. I'd love to be in a horror movie. But I just feel sorry for those people that have to, it's like, okay, here you go. You're going to act like it's summer. And like you said, you guys are in the California desert.
Yeah.
And that gets cold at night, man.
Oh yeah. Second the sun starts to not be at peak, it's pretty freezing.
So along with 420 Massacre, what else have you got? Do you ladies have coming up? Stacey?
Go ahead, Stacey.
Well, I'm actually into comedy right now, so I've been doing stand-up, so I have a bit of that coming up. So as far as films, nothing on the front just yet, but we just got through pilot season as well, so all of the shows are going to start casting for episodic season. So this time of year it starts to slow down just a hint, but it's a good time to try to dive into some more independent projects. And also, I'm really loving the comedy right now. So
cool. Yeah. Vanessa?
Well, honestly, getting this film out has been really kind of all-consuming. So that's what I've been focused on for the last several months. And then other than that, I actually do voiceover work. So I do a lot of that.
That's cool. What voiceover? I mean, anything?
Mainly commercials, like radio, mostly radio commercials, some television. Yeah. I mean, nothing so exciting, but nice paying the bills kind of work.
I could listen to your voice all day, every day. She really has the most soothing voice. She's good at it. She's being very coy.
Oh, is that what it is?
Apparently.
Well, I know that we have to start getting set up for the main show. So before we go, if you want people to follow you, where do you want them to follow you on your social media? Go, Stacey.
You can follow me on Instagram at Stacey Danger, Stacey with an EY.
Vanessa.
You can follow me on Twitter. My handle, I think that's what the kids are calling it these days. Just kidding, I know they're not. Is at Vanessa Rose P. So Vanessa Rose P.
There you go. And I just want to thank you two ladies for stopping by, sit down, and having this nice chat with me. You're always welcome back. I'm gonna follow the careers from now on of you two and see where you go. For Vanessa Reynolds and Stacey Danger, I'm the 13th Wolfman.